Alright, welcome to my day 77 progression guide. So for today, we did not get a level increase, so it's looking like Saturday might be that day. But starting out, you want to go to Artificial Island, then you want to go to build, and then you want to hit claim, because remember, you can only hold these resources for 24 hours. But besides that, I would do Mia's Kitchen, and then I would knock out your 4 bounties. And for today, going with the Sparrow. Next, we got Vitality, starting with joint operations. So for today, we got access to pans, hands, a king, and a crow matrix. So this is actually a pretty good dungeon, but for me personally, I'm going to use my vitality mainly to get weapon materials, because once we reach level 75, we should get increased drop rates, and that'll just save me from having to get weapon materials in the future. Which brings us to interstellar exploration. So remember, you want to make sure that you do interstellar exploration on both continents. So we got a Sparrow, and then you want to make sure you go to Vera and do interstellar exploration there. Once that's done, you want to check and see if you have any level 3 or 2 stargates. And a good way to tell if it's a level 2 stargate is that this weapon battery will have a 2, and if it's a level 3 stargate, this weapon battery will have a 3. But if you don't have any level 2 or level 3 stargates, you can do dimensional trials, or you can do space-time domains. But if you feel like gambling, you can always do omnium beacons, because if you can get a goat one, that is better than a level 3 stargate. Then we have our optionals, which would be trying to get gifts for your 1.0 character. So that would mean you would go to the black market, see this island for the call machine, and do your trainings. But the one thing that you want to do every day are the fun zones, and there's 6 of them. And if you need help on how to do that, I have a fun zone guide on my channel, so be sure to check that out. So it turns out we got our compensation for the cobalt translation error on her matrices, and it looks like me rolling one time on the cobalt matrices worked. So I got 200 dark crystals for, of course, the maintenance, and then I got my 500 dark crystals right here for doing 1 roll. Next, we have the Mirroria Tour event, and it looks like this is starting on October 27th, but since it's at UTC plus 0, for me at least, it's going to be starting on 10/26 at 11 p.m, so that'll be fun. But as we see here, we can essentially get 3 red nucleus, 1200 energy crystal dust, and 500 Mira. It's not the greatest, but I'll take free stuff. But October 26th, we're starting up another Gachapon event, and if y'all remember from the last costumes, you basically need to spend over $100 to clear out the shop. But they are trying to make this enticing. They're giving you a Mia costume on top of your own costume, and then they have some red nucleus in there. So it's looking pretty good, but again, if it's like over $100, I don't think it's worth. So hopefully they lowered the prices, but let's be real, most likely they didn't. And I also wanted to point out to you guys that recently I was experiencing some bad memory issues to where my game would crash, and I found out the reason why. If you have this enable DLSS on, it causes a lot of memory issues for your game. So if you are experiencing that problem, I recommend that you cut that off, and you can basically find that in settings, go to display, and then you should see it right here. But if you find these daily guides helpful, I would greatly appreciate a like, so that way it can spread more on YouTube. Next, we have our weekly tab, so you want to make sure you do enough things down here so that way you can get everything up top, which brings us to our challenges. Now, if you're trying to do something like the Bygone Phantasm, Frontier Clash, you want to make sure you do your Mia's Kitchen so that way you can power yourself up, but just make sure you use your 3 attempts before the day is over. So starting with the Bygone Phantasm. So I recommend that you do the sequential first, and once you get a good score in the sequential Phantasm, go ahead and do the regular Bygone Phantasm. But one thing to notice is that every day you're going to get boosted weapons. So if you have a main weapon that you use and you see it, you might want to try to climb the Bygone that day. But so far it looks like my big challenger Ryu has not attempted to climb yet. I might maybe have a shot. I'm just kind of hoping this guy doesn't have a good sequential team, but come on, he's at floor 370. You know he has a good team. Frontier Clash. Now you can either go ahead and knock this out, or you can just wait till Saturday once you have all your attempts, get a strong group, and knock out all 3 attempts. On top of that, if we do get a level increase Saturday, you can get a little experience. Void Rifts, pretty much the same thing as Frontier Clash. You could just save all your attempts till Friday and knock them out, and you might even want to just save it to Saturday so you can get a little bit more extra experience. But if it's a first time boss for you, go ahead and knock it out. Wormhole, we only have 4 days to complete this, so you want to make sure you do that so that way you can get that energy crystal dust. And the raids, as you notice, I have 2 more attempts because I'm trying to save it for if we get that level increase Saturday to where we can do the heroic mode of this one and we can do the battle test of this one. And Apex League, if you're trying to reach Grand Marshal, you might want to put a couple hours in each day. Then we got our daily buys, so you want to go to shop, hot, then buy your 2 vitality solutions. Now this is only if you can afford it, which brings us to the Commissary, starting with the Crystal Dust store. So you want to make sure you buy your advancement modules and your booster modules for the week. I also recommend that you get your Vera special gift. And I think you should just go ahead and get the potent omnium crystal, at least until you probably have like 9 or so that way you get up to 8.3. But if you're a free-to-play / low spender, you could consider skipping this. Space-time store. I pretty much just recommend that you use all of your fragments to get good combat engines, because it's going to be quite a while before you get enough to get a lot of these golden ones. Crew store. Now the only thing that I recommend you spend your points on are relic shards, and the relics that I recommend are space-time rift, unless you have a level 3, or omnium shield. So I'm getting all of this week. And how you get crew points is by doing your daily donations and knocking out your 4 missions for the week. Support store. You want to make sure you buy your 3 joint supply chips, and if you can, try to get these return support points so that way you can at least pick up the proof of purchase and the goat nucleus. I probably would pass on the energy crystal dust because it is kind of difficult to get the return support points, but I did make a guide earlier today, so hopefully that'll help you get at least enough to get the goat nucleus and the proof of purchase. Point store. Pretty much you just want to spend all your points on the Sparrow special gift, awaken all of your 1.0 characters, and never do trainings, black market, or Cetus Island again. But besides all that, I just recommend that you explore Vera, because once we reach a level increase, we're going to most likely be able to go into the gray space, and that's going to unlock a whole nother zone with more exploration, so you might as well try to knock out as much as you can now. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If so, check out my return support point guide, but other than that, talk to you guys later.